And today is United Nations World Refugee Day. Last year, Dunedin became home to a number of Syrian refugees after the government granted special emergency measures. Can you imagine it? Fleeing a world of violence and destruction, and suddenly you find yourself in Dunedin. You don't speak English. You don't know anybody. What's this game of rugby? Am I heading to the rugby ground? And how do you begin to navigate your new life in a place like Dunedin? The Dunedin Manager of English Language Partners is Paul Naidu, and he joins us now. Paul, fantastic to have you on the program.
Good morning, Duncan. Good to be here.
Yeah. Hey, tell me about the Syrians especially. So they've arrived in Dunedin. How many of them, and how are they doing resettling and settling in Dunedin?
They are doing pretty well, Duncan. It's just been more than a year since the first group of refugees arrived, and since then we've had about 220 arrive in Dunedin. So it's really great having them here, and it's exciting for the city. It's exciting for them. And they're doing pretty well, Duncan. Thank you.
And so have they all got decent housing, and have some of them got jobs? I mean, how are they doing assimilating into a normal life of, working, the kids in schools and that kind of thing?
That's working out very well. We are fortunate in Dunedin in that the different agencies work really well collaboratively, and there's a wraparound support service wraparound support services for these families. So the kids have been enrolled in schools. There's a lot of social participation activities going on. The Red Cross is doing a fantastic job matching families with volunteers who help them navigate the settlement process. And certainly organizations the likes of English Language Partners also have a big role to play to encourage effective settlement.
And did these families know each other beforehand, or have they got to know each other while in Dunedin and formed a bit of a community?
Some of them have known each other previously, but most of them have met each other for the very first time after arriving in Dunedin. So they've formed a little bit of community in Dunedin, which is absolutely fantastic. So there's mutual support, and that's really, really beneficial to them.
Right. So what sort of houses do we give them, and what sort of? I mean, have any of them got jobs as a result? I mean, how does it work in reality, Paul?
So pretty much when they come to Dunedin, the New Zealand Red Cross has a pathways to employment program, and they try to find them work. So many of them have found jobs, but one of the biggest stumbling blocks is, of course, language. Language is a golden key. It opens doors to so many opportunities, work opportunities, social participation opportunities. So the idea is really for them to improve their English first before being placed into work, so that they can fit into the New Zealand workplace culture as well. Houses are good. They are warm. They're lovely. The government has taken some time in terms of making sure they get that right, particularly in Dunedin, which can be quite cold.
It's quite intensive work, isn't it? It's very resource heavy, isn't it? Because you're working one-on-one with these families. And I wonder, you probably have seen this morning the announcement from the Green Party, who say they want 5,000 refugees per year coming into New Zealand within 6 years. What's your take on that, Paul? I mean, are we up for that? Can we actually take it? I mean, is it too resource heavy to take 5,000 a year?
I think as an organisation, we certainly support the increase in the refugee quota, and we're happy to support any organisation that's willing to take up that battle. I personally do believe we should increase the quota. The numbers, well, that's a discussion that's worth having, but we as an organisation, we certainly don't want to be distracted by that. Our passion and expertise lies in working with people who live amongst us, and that's where our focus is really.
Yeah, have we got the resource, though, to take 5,000? I mean, I know the government's moving it to 1,000. The Labour Party says 1,500, and the Greens have shot through to 5,000. I mean, if you look at what we've got in terms of available resource in New Zealand, I would put it to you that we probably couldn't cope with 5,000 immediately.
That might jolly well be the case, but even if there's a staggered increase over a few years, that could work. We'll wait to see what the government decides. But certainly as an organisation, we are up for it.